a lot of us have this sixth sense, this intuition, this inner knowing, when certain things would keep us from our highest path. We so many times dampen that inner knowing. We turn the dial down, like as if it's a radio station, right? We turn the volume down on our own intuition in order to fit in to societal standards. Let me give you an example. Let's just say you are somebody who have an aversion toward marriage, or you have an aversion toward having children. Like, you're just kind of undecided. But eventually you meet somebody. Of course, you're going to meet somebody that is metaphorically, that would be the equivalent of Satan saying, you've been lonely. You're trying to fill a void of whatever your intuition is telling you because you have a higher calling of something you're supposed to do here on the planet. So guess what? I sense that. I'm going to put these ideas in front of you and see if you take the bait, which are the traps and the snares. Okay, so the bait, even a relationship that seems well-meaning. Again, these are unequally yoked, but they are lessons that we've most likely came to pass, learn. It just depends on if we're going to listen to our intuition or if we're going to allow the external world to be louder. What I mean by this is, if you are, you have this inner knowing, like, marriage just isn't for me. Or let's say you end up marrying that person that was sent to you. So the first thing is, because you felt pressured or whatever, he asked and you felt like, wow, they got a great career, you'll be set. Everyone in your family, every one of your friends are telling you, yes, marry this guy, this is it. So you do it, even though marriage just never felt like the thing to do. You never really felt comfortable, but you figured, you know what? If I were to ever exchange vows and get married with somebody, this is probably the person I should do it with. I feel so blessed. I feel so safe. I feel so loved. And then a couple years go by, your spouse starts wanting children. This was not ever really something you felt intuitively that you wanted, but your spouse keeps upping the ante, keeps bringing it up, almost putting this pressure on you, even if they're not intending to. You start to feel this guilt. You start to feel like, well, wow, will they leave me if I don't agree to this? Maybe I should, maybe something's wrong with me. We start to internalize it. We start to guilt trip ourselves. We start to assume that there's something wrong with us. So we decide, I'm going to go see a counselor about this, or I'm going to talk to a trusted friend. I'm going to talk to some friends who already have kids. Let me see what they think. So you go and you talk to these people. And of course, as you talk, as you listen, you start to get the advice that, it's now or never. If you're here even considering it, then there's your answer. You know what you should do. You get that fear-based, three-dimensional advice. And you end up getting pregnant. It changes the whole trajectory of your life. Maybe you have postpartum and you're being prescribed certain things because You're like, I don't feel like other moms who say it's the best thing they've ever done. You are actually the one who feels like, oh my God, my life is over. Like the life I knew is over. What? You almost panic. Not that you don't feel that bond or that love, of course. Or maybe you don't. But it gives us more to guilt and shame ourselves about. And right there, that is what I'm talking about. That is a lesson in listening to our intuition. See, this 3D reality has minimized conscious awareness. So we tend to think if we don't feel or want the same things as everyone else, that there's something wrong with us. And that way of thinking is what you're most likely here to change. Like, look at the aversions. And instead of saying, oh, I'm here to change this about myself, maybe you're not here to change that about yourself. Maybe you're here to be the person that says, you know what, living like this is okay because it feels more aligned to me. Not saying that you would never question it, but when you, say you never got married or never had kids, but you still were in a relationship, a very loving relationship, one that flourished and brought you a lot of joy and happiness and allowed you to move at your own pace. That is a very different way of living and being and expressing, as opposed to trying to fit into societal standards and structures that don't work for you. If that was put into you, it was for a reason. We're not here to correct ourselves. We're here to be human beings. Allow yourself to just be and embody what works for you. It's not going to work for everybody else because that's maybe not their path. You have your path, another person has their path, and so on and so forth. And by you just living in alignment with what feels right to you, you can be that beacon to show other, let's say, other females who are going through the same thing. You show them that that's okay to do and to be, maybe to never get married. And look, life can still be, just as nourishing, just as fulfilling, just as joyful, just as loving. Same thing if you choose not to have children. But see, society conditions us to believe that if we don't, we're missing out on an experience. Do you hear that? We're missing out on an experience. But maybe that's not what you came to do. Maybe there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing to fix because you came with the plans already within you of what you came to do. So the more that we try to deprogram that out of us so that we can fit in with what everybody else is doing, it takes us out of alignment with our soul's journey. Be a light bringer for, a light bearer for. Now, I'm not saying that everyone is aware of this, but it's another perspective. If you prefer to wear blue jeans every day, but the whole world is wearing skirts, don't allow societal pressures, your friends, your classmates, people around you, boyfriends, girlfriends, to tell you that you're wrong for dressing that way. You are following your own joy, your own happiness, what makes you feel. You're not hiding anything. But this is what society will try to make you feel, like something is wrong with you. Like you're wearing jeans because you're trying to hide your legs. You're trying to hide your femininity. Like they will try to put something in your head that always makes you feel like you're wrong. You're not wrong. You're doing it because that's what you want to do. And these are just general examples of what the bigger picture is, though. Because I see this a lot, society around us, and even in myself. Like, how many times have I tried to autocorrect myself? Autocorrect. Heal certain things in me. You know what I'm trying to heal is the societal programming. That's what I need to unprogram. Not who I am. Not that there's something intrinsically wrong with the things that I love. My preferences. Our preferences are our intuition. Allow them to guide us. Because if it's in us, it's for a reason. But society would want nothing more, and they do nothing more than try to convince you that your preferences are incorrect and that you should fall in line with what everybody else thinks here in groupthink, and you will get along and be much happier. That may not be your path. If you are coming and standing out from a group, you're going to have to be okay being on your own outside of that group and still having conviction for what you prefer. And that is a huge lesson we all need to start, because this is where we're at. Some of us can see, some of us sense it, some of us know it, some of us, the blinders are just starting to come up, and some of us are still getting advice from people that have no business giving that advice, because the old advice is corrupt. The old advice and the old way of doing things, the 3D, the fear-based collective consciousness wants nothing more than to fit in, to be accepted. So accept yourself, accept your uniqueness, and the world around you can basically either accept you or not. It's not your business. Because if you accept you, if you say this is okay with me, what does it matter what other people think? What does it really matter? There has to be a group of us that has enough gumption, enough courage to stand for what makes them happy. Regardless of if society tells us we're wrong for it, we're right for it, guess what? Don't need your permission. I reject your opinion. I just don't care. I am fortified enough in my own okayness to let whatever your opinion is, whether it's good, bad, or ugly, it doesn't affect me. It almost just like bounces right off of me. That is the kind of energy we are moving towards. That's the kind of energy that is needed on the planet right now within all of us, myself included. There are so many times that I didn't listen to my intuition. And let me be honest with you. Let me say this. This is going to get real personal. For the longest time, I was afraid to have children. I had no idea why that would be. I mean, I wasn't married, so that would be one thing. But I was always in relationships, so long-standing relationships. Never wanted to get married. That was another thing. And I didn't. However, I did have children. Eventually. In my mid-30s. Now, when I was younger, Yes, I got pregnant. And yes, fear set in, but that was my intuition. Yet, I didn't know that. Did not know that. And I see that I have punished myself. I have guilted myself. I have shamed myself. And this world would gladly do the same. Gladly do the same about anyone who has decided to terminate a pregnancy. They would gladly tell you how fucked up you are, how fucked up that is, and that you are absolutely wrong, and a soul is a soul. And that is more of a fear-based consciousness opinion. Looking back at my life, I do see that if we do anything in fear, it can just breed more fear. But when we do things with a sense of just inner knowing and conviction, like I said, of this is who I am, these are my preferences, and I'm sticking by that, then fear cannot creep in. Shame, guilt, other people's opinions don't matter. We have to be okay with our decisions and our actions and keep it moving, no matter who outside of us would want to advise us otherwise or tell us their opinion. Moving with conviction and courage and that steady inner knowing is what matters, because maybe what you're here to do looks completely different than what I'm here to do, and so on and so forth. Just don't get it twisted that sins are us being dirty, us being filthy. What is dirty or filthy is our opinions about ourselves, the way we talk to ourselves, all of the negativity that we allow others to impose and impress upon us, and that we then internalize and accept. It's just like it's the same handing over of the power, like when we go to a physician and then they give us a diagnosis. They could be wrong, right, or otherwise. Doesn't matter. As soon as somebody tells you that you have something, that you are something, it's all this placebo. Now, I'm not saying that they're wrong if they see something, but that just means that the dis-ease in your body had it set in before you could jump back onto the course of ease. So when we are on a path of dis-ease, meaning we're struggling, it's like one disaster after another, it's just a lot of chaos, that can bring upon or will create dis-ease. And you don't start taking care of you, the dis-ease sets in. Like chaos will create the dis-ease. But when you start to clear away each chaotic piece, it's just like tuning an instrument, you know. You tune this, you tune that up, you tune this up, or a car, you're tuning it up. It will help remove the dis-ease from within, and as within, so without. As above, so below. So whatever you create in your higher chakras, in your spiritual world, with your connection to our Creator, that is what will manifest in the tree of life. It is what brings it into the manifest. But you got to get through fear. You got to get through instability. You've got to ground it You have to let it happen. Having the confidence, what you want, to do what you want, to be what you want. And then having the ability to act on it decisively, like I said, with conviction. So don't doubt yourself about what your preferences are. Your preferences are there as guideposts, as light posts, as lighthouses. They will intuitively direct your course without you overthinking it if you just follow your inner guidance on what you want to do.